New Zealand High Commissioner, Her Excellency Charlotte Dallo, representatives from New Zealand Embassy, the head of school, Mr. Viliame Mulo, members of school committee, school trustees, teachers who are present here. I also acknowledge the parents, students who have been patiently sitting and listening to us and watching this program. Ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka, Namaste, and a very good morning to you all. It is my pleasure to join Her Excellency in this handing over ceremony. As you know, our relationship with New Zealand goes back many, many decades. New Zealand population is multicultural, and Fiji's population is also multicultural. We share the same kinship, we share the culture and traditions, we are very family oriented, and so are the New Zealanders. And there are many similarities from that perspective. And when we visit New Zealand, we feel at home immediately because very large number of Fijians live in New Zealand, and New Zealand has become their home. So when we visit New Zealand, we feel very much at home because we tend to get the same food that we love, you know, when we visit our family members. Ladies and gentlemen, I also like to acknowledge New Zealand government's contribution in the education sector. This is not the only assistance New Zealand provided through the New Zealand Embassy. There are many other assistance given by the New Zealand government over many years to schools. Recently I saw that the High Commissioner was in Taveuni opening an ECE school. Yeah. So that shows that it's not just the handing over of furniture, but they also help building schools, improving school environment, and so forth. As you know, while our government tries to ease the burden of our parents through the provision of a free education grant, starting from ECE right up to secondary level, the generosity of our donors and development partners simply helps to improve the quality of education, the quality of infrastructure, the teaching and learning environment. And that's what we need to do over and over again to create that conducive environment for our students to learn. We need to change the school environment, particularly the way the classrooms are arranged. Inside the classroom, we need to make it more interesting and exciting for our children. And we cannot continue to teach students the way we have been teaching for many, many decades. We are living in 21st century, and therefore the 21st century demands a lot more from us in terms of use of technology and also observing the various challenges that each and every government is going through. Challenges such as climate change, and now the health crisis with COVID-19, and not forgetting the geopolitical tensions that are building around the globe. And we're already seeing conflicts with Russia and Ukraine. All these are having a major impact on each and every country in terms of our resources, in terms of our economic growth. But despite the setback, the government is committed. We will continue to assist schools as we have been doing it. Gone are the days when parents had to fork out money to pay for the children's education, pay school fees, buy textbooks, pay for the bus fares, etc., etc. You don't have to do that anymore. And I recall when we were growing up in a family, the parents had to decide which child will go to the school and which child will be kept home. And normally, in such situation, the girls were kept at home because the parents could not pay school fees to all their children, for all their children. And during those days, the families were large. A family, a couple can have like 14 children, 10 children, 7 children, and I come from a family of 7. So these were some of the difficulties faced by the parents. But now we have made the education free, and we have eased the burden of our parents, because they were double burden that the parents had to handle. One was paying for the school fees, etc., and the other one was to raise funds so that they can maintain the school and upgrade the school. Now we provide the free education grant through which the administration, including buying of teaching and learning materials, etc., is used for. But often, I do understand it's not sufficient, so when our development partners step in, it helps. It simply helps to improve the school environment. So thank you, Excellency, for providing that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not my first visit to any school. So far, I have visited more than 110 schools around the country. I've been to schools in maritime area, rural, remote, as well as peri-urban and urban school. So I've seen it all, how the schools are organized and what the needs are. And I can say that our attention, we have to pay a lot more attention to schools in maritime area and rural areas. Most urban schools are self-sufficient, they're doing pretty well, but we need to upgrade the facilities in remote rural areas. We have seen that there are teachers who don't have quotas, and normally the quotas is provided by the school management committee because the school is owned by them, and the government only helps by providing the funding to the school management committee to run the school affairs. But now we have started helping school management committees and the community to build staff quarters in remote rural areas where it's not possible for teachers to rent a place. And in that situation, obviously they need a home, and we build homes for them. In the last revised budget, funding was made available to renovate staff quarters. This is the teachers' quarters, as well as to make some driveways in the school, and the funds were also made available for the evolution block. And I know that the Japanese government is assisting this school with the development or building of a evolution block. So I'm very much aware of it, what's going on in each and every school. And I have been working very closely with the development partners to assist schools. Korean embassy came on board with 400,000 Fijian dollars, and they provided a number of, they provided teaching resources to schools. They also provided furniture and computers to certain schools. And we also have Australian government who have been helping Ministry of Education in the development of the curriculum and in many other areas, including the Japanese government under the grassroots project. And of course, New Zealand government has always been there to assist us. So all these development partners simply help the community to run their school in the best possible manner. And we appreciate all this assistance been given. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our teachers for doing good job, particularly during COVID-19 when the school was closed. You were the ones who continued the learnings. You managed to reach out to the students. You prepared worksheets. Some of you had to learn the digital technology, and some teachers even used digital technology to teach during that time. So I appreciate your contribution, but I would like to highlight one simple point, and that is where I need parents' attention. I've seen after COVID-19, there is a lot of issues students are facing. And I can understand that for 8 months they were at home without any social interaction, without being closer to teachers, because our students, they trust their teachers, they can confide in their teachers more than anyone else. But during that period, they went through a lot of mental stress, and now we can see a change in behavior. A change in behavior which is not very nice for any community to deal with. We have seen an increase in drug cases, we've seen an increase in fights that goes on not only in school environment but also outside school. And what concerns me most is parental responsibility. Because what happens in the school environment, the teachers are responsible for it, and they will try and deal with the students. But normally some of these things that I'm mentioning, it is after school hours where we find our students roaming around in the street even at night. And I just want to say to the parents that please look after your children. You need to guide them at this stage. If you don't, then things will go out of hand. So education is everyone's responsibility. It's a shared responsibility, and I can see that different partners are coming on board to ensure that the education is delivered in the best possible way. But parental responsibility is equally important. There are children who come to school without lunches. They're not even given breakfast. And sometimes it's not because there is no food in the house. It's simply because the parents did not get up in the morning to prepare that breakfast and lunch for their children. And that is very concerning. So I hope you'll take this message seriously and look at how you can improve your child's behavior. And I think one way forward is that if you find any issues with your child and you need additional help, please let us know. We have counselors. We'll be able to use our counselors to talk to the child. They need tender care, and I know the parents can do that as well as the teachers. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, I thank New Zealand government for their kind assistance, and also thank the School Management Committee and the trustees for the work they do. It's a thankless task when they run this school, but with a lot of criticism, I know that. But I thank you once again for assisting the government in delivering education to our children. Vinaka.